Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm your host, Jeff Howard, and I have someone on Zoom with me right now. I'm terribly excited. I have Alina Krasnianska with me. Hi, Alina.
Hi, Jeff. Nice to see you.
It is so good to see you. And do you want to tell everyone where I'm sitting in Los Angeles and you are currently in?
I'm currently in Kyiv, which is the capital of Ukraine. And I'm very happy that I can see you and a bit happy that you can see me because you know that we have blackouts at the moment and the city gets in complete black. So now we are lucky to have a light.
I'm so glad. I know it's so special to be able to Zoom with you. And the reason you're on this podcast is because you were the executive producer and one of the producers of a film that was at Film Invasion Los Angeles this year, earlier this year in 2024 in June we showed it. And the title is Culture versus War, Liberov. And it's about a married couple who are both photographers. And they actually were not war photographers. They had you show us in the film a glimpse of their life before the war. Just quick one, right? They were doing a thing about love stories and things.
Correct.
And then this is just an amazing documentary about them going towards the front of the war. Their reaction to the invasion was to go document it. And it's really one of the most powerful films we've really ever had. And it took home the, awards are not important, especially when human beings are dying every day, but I'm still glad that our jury, so Culture versus War won the grand jury award for best featurette documentary and just best documentary. It's just an amazing film.
Thanks a lot.
And it's amazingly well made. I often, when at the film festival in person, whenever we show a documentary, I always say, I understand that we have to talk about the subject of the documentary in this Q&A, but I do always say to that audience, you have to understand, if you were me and you were getting 700-800 films, I'm a member of the selection jury, we get about 700 or 800 films per festival, and we do 2 festivals a year. And so I have seen a poorly made documentary about an amazing subject. It's the subject doesn't guarantee the quality of the film. And you and your team, and you have a director, Kadim Tarasov.
Correct.
Tarasov, and I have other producers. So I mean, just please know that your team made an amazing film. Just the film is so well made and so well edited, and it's excellent filmmaking.
Thanks a lot.
Even if I will have a hard time, even myself this time, focusing on the filmmaking. As I told you before we started recording, my family has its roots in Odessa, Ukraine, and it's why I look the way I do. And when I've traveled in Europe, anytime I'm near the Mediterranean or the Black Sea, everyone comes up and speaks to me in the native language because even in Istanbul, everyone was coming up to me and assuming I was a local, because that's just the other side of the Black Sea from Odessa. So I've always felt a connection to the area, but obviously with Putin's invasion of Ukraine, the whole world, hopefully most of the world understands the importance of this.
We hope so.
But how would you like to start? Would you like to start about your career in film, or you want to talk about how this film got started? Because we could talk about your career in film because, one thing I can say as a festival runner in the United States, in Los Angeles, is we've had many great works from Ukraine over the years. In fact, right when and I should have looked this up, but right when the invasion happened, the most recent invasion, I should say, right? We had a film from Ukraine, out of Kyiv, that was about leaving IT. It was a documentary about three people who had successful careers in information technology, and they were unhappy. And one started a kite surfing company, and one started this. They all started fun things, and it showed. And I was emailing with the filmmaker, and I'm like, this we're gonna show this film in the theater. And he said, please do, because we want to show everyone what we're fighting to get back. That this was a modern, cosmopolitan, multicultural nation that was succeeding, and honestly, really, in American terms, Ukraine was kicking ass, right? I mean, the just to have its own Silicon Valley and its own software industry, and
Yeah.
to be the breadbasket of Europe. I mean, Ukraine. What can I say? It's just, to see the footage in Culture versus War of communities just bombed to hell. It's an amazing contrast to the documentary that was sent to us just before the invasion. So it's and of course it feels frivolous to care about. One guy was throwing, I think one of the IT people was throwing rave parties on beaches. But I think it's also important for, I don't want to totally shame my fellow countrymen, but for Americans who don't feel connected and think like, oh, that's happening on the other side of the world, it doesn't even affect me. It's like, these people's lives were no different from yours.
Correct, yeah.
It's just that a horrible, evil regime next door, for whatever reasons, I can say what I think, but for whatever reasons there were, chose to just invade and attempt to destroy. I don't even see what the benefit was, but it might have just been staying in power or something. But anyway, I have talked too much. I have someone excuse me. I have someone you should be talking. So do you want to share how culture? Well, we'll share. Like, you've been in film quite a while.
Yeah, but before full-scale invasion, I was mostly working on feature films, on commercials, music videos all around the world with international crews. In Ukraine, we had huge market of international service because our level of production is pretty high, and it's super convenient. The conditions are super convenient for European countries as France, Italy, Germany, etc. So we had a lot of shootings of big productions in Ukraine. I was participating. And it was a pretty fun life before full-scale invasion. And I must say that now when I travel with this film, which you saw, Culture versus War, Liberov, when I travel by the festivals around the world, the jury and spectators, when they are talking to me, they are getting pretty surprised, not only by the footages they see, but by the quality. And in Ireland, I've been recently, we won Best Film of the Year. In Ireland, they told me that the surprise of the quality is even higher because they couldn't imagine that in Ukraine we make such a cool production, and people are so inventive, so creative, and we are thinking as we have interesting and maybe a bit different way of thinking, etc. For us, all what is happening now is really, really painful because our best people, best Ukrainians, went to this war to serve, to protect our country, to fight for our future, for our liberty, for the future of a big part of the world, to be honest, because everyone understands that the consequences of this war can make huge impact to Europe and even to all entire world. The importance and big value of this project is to show our creators, and I must say that we have a series of the films, of documentaries, Culture versus War, where in each film we show the hero, the great Ukrainian creator of different spheres, from different spheres of art, as cinematographers, directors, musicians, poets, composers, artists, etc. And we show how these wonderful, talented, super honored people, they just stopped their successful life. They made pause or stop or break in their careers, and they went to army to serve. And because their values are way higher than the Russian values. And if you compare what's happening in the Russian army, what they are doing on our territory, it's nothing to compare to people who serve on Ukrainian side, because we have this huge will to protect our motherland, our country, and to protect our families. And I must say that most part of our heroes in our films, they are also fathers of 3-4 kids. So it's not only a matter of protecting the land or language or culture, it's also physical protection of their families. And they are being so brave and meanwhile so talented. And we wanted to tell their stories, actually.
Yeah. And the title alone does demonstrate that it really is culture versus war. Because culture really is, you can't destroy it. The culture is what survives and what will overcome.
Yeah. And also culture is the way of thinking. And also culture is identity of the nation. And it is very important because a lot of foreigners think that Russia and Ukraine is the same. And there is no difference in language, that people are super same look-wise and think-wise, but it's not true. We have by this series of films, we also show the difference. We show the way of thinking. We talk in these films. We have a lot of interviews, and we show real consequences of this war, and we show how Russian army are making war crimes on the territory of Ukraine, and all of that combining with culture, with these highly educated people, heroes of our films. It is, on our point of view, is very, very valuable and very interesting for the spectators. And they also, the bright thing about it is that each film, each documentary has its own style. Because if the film is about an artist, it has more visual style, this film. If it is about musicians, it has a lot of music. It has a lot of inspiration, like in sounds. And that's why each of the films of the series, it found its own viewers and spectators. So it is also interesting.
Yes, yes. I mean, and I've only seen the episode. I guess we could call it an episode or the film about
Yeah.
the Liberov couple. But as you shared with me, there's seven
Yeah.
films made so far,
Yeah.
and each one focuses on a different artist or pair of artists. Is often an individual?
It's always individual, and this film, what you've seen, this film is interesting because from the beginning, when the full-scale invasion started in 2022, we started this project immediately on the second month of the war. Of full-scale invasion, because our director was in occupation. He couldn't start earlier. And when we started it, we were voting for the heroes. And I asked a team to keep the last film as a joker, like to wait for the heroes. So we started to produce. And we were producing one by one and coming to the last one, to the film number 6. And on this way, I begged not to hurry and not to pick the hero in advance, to look for our hero. And on the way, after we produced 2 films, European Commission came to us to support the project because we initiated it just voluntarily. And when they came, of course, they wanted to have the girl heroine because for them it's very, very important to show men and women in the same conditions. But we didn't want to make it artificially. I said to them the same thing. I said that we have to wait. And then at one point, this couple, Liberov couple, appeared. We started to see them more and more in the social medias, in like all around the world, in all newspapers. On the first page, their pictures started to appear, like very powerfully talking about this war. And it was a big gift. And this waiting was we got this huge gift, having them as our heroes, because we got the woman as Euro Commission wanted, and we had a couple, which is even more, even bigger value to show not only the fighters, not only the creators, to show the couple, to show how they support each other, how they love each other, how brave they are.
Yeah, yeah, and how great their work is too. That is so. So you actually discovered this couple because their work was right. They rushed to the front and they were uploading photography to the Associated Press website,
Yes.
and unbeknownst to them, it was ending up on the cover of the New York Times and being
Yeah.
used globally. So that attention that they got, that's what alerted you and your team that there was and because they're photographers, then you naturally had their work to build the film around.
Exactly. And we just added this this trick. We made a CG with these photographies. You could see it's like it's kind of moving inside. Yeah, you saw the layers moving inside, which is giving more dynamic, which is giving more movement, and it is somehow more interesting to see, to watch. So that was an idea as well.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, it's such a visually powerful film that admittedly I would, if watching it last night with my wife, seeing it again, I did say, wow, I do wish it were dubbed so that I could never have to take my eyes off the images. Because sometimes I want to read what they're saying and I'm reading, I'm like, wait a minute, there's an amazing photograph to look at. There's there's just something amazing to see. And it is just visually, and that's something that you spoke to just a few minutes ago, which was that people were really impressed with the quality of the film.
Yeah.
That they didn't realize, I guess they didn't realize what talented people were in Ukraine, and that they couldn't be stopped.
Yeah, I'm happy for that, really happy for that. And when I was leaving the festival, guys told me, please don't stop, please just create the films, continue, whatever it would be, the war topics or not. It's important to deliver to the world how talented Ukrainians are. So it's a part of communication. It's a part of cultural diplomacy as well.
Absolutely. In fact, I imagine one of the challenges deciding when to stop, because it's ongoing. You know, I'm watching the film and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I hope they're okay still. It's now been probably over a year since the film wrapped. Maybe longer. And my God, it's not even close to over. And shame on me. As an American, it's hard to get accurate news, and it's hard. We get the occasional update, but what we tend to hear is what the politicians in our country are arguing about, and whether or not they'll send more money. And we have a political party in our country that seems to want to use money intended for Ukraine to get them other. They play political games with our support of a nation that is literally a modern liberal democracy being invaded by a totalitarian regime. And I can't believe, with everything I was taught in American history classes, that there's any question about support. So I actually, it's funny, and I think our media is biased to give us any positive news about Ukraine doing well. But I honestly don't even know what the state of things are at the moment. And here you are letting me know that, you can't count on electricity.
We cannot, but it's okay for us. Yeah, it's not a problem. We are used to it. It's lasting time, and it's not our biggest problem. Coming back to the thought you touched about how the guys are, I must say that last year Vlada, the girl, was wounded pretty badly, and she was in a hospital on the front line, just in the middle of nowhere. They couldn't deliver her to the land, to the city, because she was in a bad condition. Actually, they were in a very, very dangerous situation several times, a lot of times. But once Vlada was wounded, they were together in a car, but somehow the bomb came from her side. So they survived also that. But now, at the moment, she is in the front line. Both of them are there. yesterday I spoke to her because at one point I lost the contact with our director of photography of these films, which is my friend, and I was trying to find him, and I asked Vlada for help at one point. So the guys are there; they are in the hottest spots of this war still, and yeah, they are super brave, I must say.
Yeah, so in spite of injuries, in spite of right, because in the documentary it does share she shares that she started using a telephoto lens more to
Yeah,
stay
yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
there was one explosion that sent her flying backwards
Yeah, yeah.
like an action movie. She lived, and Lord knows that causes concussions. It causes all sorts of things. So, but she can only be so careful. They can only be so careful.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah,
devoted to the project.
yeah. They try to. They always wear all the equipments. They are protecting themselves with helmets, etc. So they are pretty well secured. But you understand, this is a real war, really the dangerous one, where the best soldiers are dying. So it is dangerous, but they are still doing their job.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Yeah.
think we all are aware that the Russian army targets civilians and targets civilian buildings, so there are no safe spaces. It's not like if you stay away from military encampments and stuff, you won't get bombed and there won't be landmines because the Russians are going. They're literally just trying to destroy everything.
Yeah, and guys are not staying away. They are traveling together with an army, so they are mostly interested to film, to shoot the operations, and to work with army. So they are really in the hottest spots.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. Well, that's good. I'm so glad that she's recovered and
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
able and amazing world we live in that you're contacting Vlada to get in touch with the cinematographer.
Yeah, actually, it was my misunderstanding. But anyway, I'm happy that I contacted her because it's pretty difficult. But I saw on their in their story in Instagram, I saw the guy which was very similar. The guy which was in a hospital in a bad condition. I just thought that it was our cinematographer, which wasn't online, and I thought that it was a coincidence, and I had to ask her. So I asked her, but it wasn't him. She sent me beautiful portraits of this guy, and I could get sure that it wasn't our friend. So for now, it's okay. Actually, on this war, we had a pretty small crew on the project, and on this war last year, we lost one of our crew members in army. He was fighting for us. And unfortunately, yeah, it was super, super painful when we lost him. He was so much intelligent, highly educated person, and very, very nice and smart. And he was doing so a lot for for culture, for this project and other projects. And it is very, very painful to lose people like him, like Alexei. And you possibly know that we also every day losing the cinematographers, artists, musicians, ballet dancers, talented sportsmen, etc. So it is very, very painful to lose our future and and to lose people who are our talents, our face on the international cultural market or sports arena. So it is very, very painful.
It is. It is. It's yeah. It does show the imbalance of the invading force sends people, and their nation doesn't even care about the lives of the people they're sending in. Whereas the people who are defending their homeland, and of course, and I think we all know, and it's actually in the Liberov chapter of that documentary where spoke to soldiers who were Russian born, carrying Russian passports, who had lived there in Ukraine for a while, and they said, "Yes, we're fighting on the side of Ukraine. This is, it doesn't matter if the country I came from is invading this nation. Like this is wrong, and it has to be defended. But the defenders have to put everyone on the line for their nation."
Even more, these guys are not living several years in Ukraine. These guys came here to Ukraine straight away when full-scale invasion started, just to protect our country from their citizens, from Russian citizens. So they were not living here. They are real Russians. They are not. They don't agree with the politics of their country. And they picked a very brave way to live, to die, to be real men, and they defend Ukraine, and they serve here. So we have both. We have Russians and we have Belarusians, which are also our enemies in this war, and they serve on Ukrainian side, and we even have great Belarusian troops here in Ukraine.
Yeah, my goodness, yeah. Belarus has also got a dictator who I'm sure the people don't truly support.
It is very painful situation with Belarus, because just before full-scale invasion started, you know that in Belarus were all these protests, all these situations with political prisoners, etc. And the Belarusians were escaping from Belarus to Ukraine, looking for the support, and we were supporting them, and we were supporting just before full-scale invasion. We were giving them jobs in our sector and other sectors. We're trying to give them home in Ukraine while they are not able to come back to Belarus. But when the full-scale invasion started, we could see how everything turned upside down, and Belarusian side started to be our enemies, and these guys who were in Ukraine, they had to run away as well, not to be in difficult situation. I don't know,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it really is. It really is part of a bigger historical event, really.
Yeah.
Because it really is still about, I guess this really is just the untangling of the Soviet Union and the Black Curtain, and still, I just don't know why we didn't pull everyone into NATO as fast as possible. Because I certainly would have been happier if whatever. But yeah, it's oh boy. Well, so history aside, I think you said that the decision to start making these films happened almost immediately upon the 2022 invasion, full scale.
Yeah, correct. Because Kadim, our director, was in occupation in Kyiv area. He was in very, very dangerous part of Bucha, on the border of Bucha and Irpin, where there were awful things. A lot of people died there. And Kadim could survive with his family. And when occupation stopped, when it finished, he decided we decided to do something. Our first will was to document war crimes. And it was very important because you possibly know, I think you know, you are aware of it, that this war is the most documented war in full history. As we have all the gadgets, we have all possibilities to document this war. A lot of cinematographers, journalists are serving or were in occupation or wherever you have people who can document. So for us, it was very, very crucial to document that moment. And we were one of the first who started to shoot at that moment. And then almost straight away in 1 week, we got this idea to have these heroes, creators of each sphere of documentary, of an art, to become the heroes of documentary. And we were voting, as I said, each of us had a list of candidates. So we're voting for.
So it began documenting war crimes, which is incredibly important. But then, and I assume you knew Kadim before.
Yeah.
So you had gotten to work before. You worked together before this.
Yeah, correct. He is my best friend. And we were shooting with him a lot of films before. Sorry, I will charge computer. Hey, I'm sorry.
No problem. This is we're good. I am being by the way, the podcast we just go with the audio generally. We don't use the video, but I got to just see a little bit more of your home as you went to get your charger.
Yeah. I have a dog, and she started to wave her tail, and it was a bit noisy. Sorry.
Oh no, dogs are always welcome.
So I knew Kadim. We were shooting the films before. We were shooting a lot of music videos for famous music bands, for international music bands, for Ukrainian music bands. And the career was pretty successful. And our friendship was lasting for years. So that's why when all the situation started, we didn't need to have a time to know each other, to we understand each other from just by having a look. That's it. So that's why it was pretty comfortable that we can make all the decisions super quickly, and we trust to each other, and that's why it was very comfortable and fast.
And you both realized together, I assume, that documenting the war crimes was one thing, but finding cultural heroes, finding people, that was the way to personalize this to get to share with the world.
Yes, correct. And we were right at that moment. Now we have a lot of different documentaries, but at that moment, it was very right decision. I can say it post factum, because the war, at some point, the world was super much tired of all these reportage footages with shaking cameras. Someone is running, everyone has to see it, whatever, something happens. And when we proposed this way of creative cinematography for the documentary, and also I think you will have chance, when I will send you will have chance to see our other documentaries of this series. We had super wonderful cinematographer who has really golden hands, and shoot beautiful content. He's serving in the army. I was telling about him earlier today. I was searching for him yesterday. So he is serving in the army. He is going to the hottest points of the front line, and simultaneously he is shooting beautiful footages And when we were producing these films, we combined it with a super beautiful touch of cinematography. And it is a very big value and like the beauty of these films. And this beauty was needed because, as I said before, the audience was pretty tired of something unified. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, that shows an understanding as a movie producer that you sometimes have to cater to the audience.
Yeah, always.
Because if you're not giving the audience what they'll watch, then it's going to be lost. Yeah, yeah, it's funny. You can't focus on tragedy for years because you actually people will. It's so embarrassing that human beings get numb to tragedy and that we
Yes.
need the other side. But that's human nature, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's normal and it is good because people have to survive. They have to protect their brain, their nerve system, and just their mind. That's why it's completely normal that people are getting tired, and we have to be smart and to search right approaches to knock to the maximum quantity of the doors to be heard and to be seen and to got understood. That's our goal.
I mean, and it's and I hope is it working? Is there been I mean, I would lose if you told me that you submitted these to streaming services throughout Europe and they have these gotten some distribution?
Not at all. No, we by the we had, as I said before, we had the funds of European Union, and by that program, we just posted our films on YouTube, and we were only submitting the films to the festivals. This film has very successful festival life. It has 60 awards all around the world. And I just came back from Dublin, that's what I mentioned. And we had really big quantity of the awards and of nominations. And other thing, what we did, we participated in huge diplomatical events. So as different kind of summits, for example, I went to Euro Parliament, to Brussels, to show the film in Euro Parliament. So we did such stuff. And the diplomats were collaborating with us on this project, and that's why these films of our sericulture versus war, were shown in a lot of embassies, on a lot of different events.
Embassies, but the public at large, is it? I'm afraid to ask. On YouTube, is it? Did it get a good following?
Yes, it got a good following, but I guess that if it would be on the platforms, it would be better. But unfortunately, we started it so early. I mean, as I said, we started it one of the first, and we didn't have this experience yet. Now, I would do everything in a different way. But at that point, That's what we saw. For us, the fastest way was to post these films, and to write a lot, to knock to the doors, to go to the festivals, to talk to the audience by the mass medias. Also, I was participating in different like TV shows abroad, online, to promote the films. Also, just when our president was participating in news, for example, I was talking after him to tell the story and to show the films as well. So it was pretty good distribution, I would say, but could be better.
Well, I will certainly hope that it continues to improve, and if I run into anybody, it's actually we did have a panel at our last festival about distribution, and I imagine those people might say to me, the people in international distribution, "Oh, well, what after it's on YouTube?" I'll be like, "It doesn't matter if it's on YouTube. Most people just aren't on YouTube."
It's true.
And even if the YouTube numbers are huge, look, I personally, I'm a middle-aged person in Los Angeles. I can't go to YouTube and find anything I want to watch. So I just give up. I stay away from it because there's just too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much on there, and most of it is made by kids just to be silly. And so, yeah, I don't see YouTube as an impediment to other types of distribution for film.
Yeah, I understand that, and I agree. I agree completely. So that at that point, when I realized that we have to go to platforms, I contacted Netflix, because in Ukraine we also have Netflix, but for my surprise, they are not working with documentaries in Ukraine. They only work yeah. For
Yeah,
them,
my face is revealing. Wow.
yeah. Because all around the world is very, very, it's very commercial kind of films. But for us, unfortunately, they are not working. We have only 3 documentaries at the moment on Netflix, Ukrainian documentaries. One of them is Oscar winner. The film is 20 Days in Mariupol. Another one is Oscar nominee, and another one is, it also has one of the biggest prizes. It has, I think, okay, I will not say, just not to mix up the things. So only for big awards, they agree to post the film. But unfortunately, there were no conditions for us to do it, because I was full of power, full of will to do it, and it couldn't happen.
Wow, that's just that's very sobering to learn that a major global platform has basically said we're staying out of this. We're just going to give people documentaries about murderers and serial killers and dumb TV shows from the 80s, and we're not going to. Wow. Well,
yeah, it's they explained that it's not bringing money back. So in foreign countries, it is giving them some like interest, and in Ukraine it's not.
And obviously I'm biased.
Changes.
I might be biased as a fan of the film, but I know for a fact that if it were on a service and I could tell everyone I know, you've got to go watch this Culture versus War thing. You've got to watch it right away. Everyone who watched it would tell other people to watch it. And it would catch fire very quickly, and it actually would make them money. It would do well for them if they had the courage to give it a try. But
yeah, it's true.
Well, obviously people on the film festival circuit, people running film festivals, tend to be strong believers in the power of film and the importance of film and its ability. And here you are using film as a producer in such a positive, important way. And I certainly believe in what you're doing and agree with you that this is exactly the way to get the word out. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm watching the film for the third or fourth time last night and saying to myself, I tend to curse. I haven't cursed yet this podcast, but I'm going to refer to my government now, so I'm going to use the word motherfucker. And that is that if those motherfuckers in Congress, if they all sat down and watched at least one of your films, if not all seven, they would vote the right way. You would have had all the equipment you needed to. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that we could not have helped you more.
Yeah, it's true. Now we are in a moment of waiting of big decisions from states. You know that this is a moment when something can happen soon, which will change the way of this war. And for us, it is very important to be heard and to be seen and to be safe and to be to save our best people. And it is very crucial to understand that our best people are not dying for nothing, that this sacrifice has to be for good, that we have to stay free and to stay a democratic country. For us, it is very important because at the moment of start of full-scale invasion, we were very blossoming, beautiful, developed country with high values and with very, very, very well developed democracy. And we don't want to be a part of the country where democracy is nothing. And for us, it is very important to be heard. That's why each of us now is maximum mobilized to do the best. We try to do the best. We try to make our films, to show them, to do it non-stop. Now I'm working on another film about this war, and each of us tries to push, just even if we cover just the part of right people, it is a good job.
Yeah. And I am not terribly well informed, but I believe I am aware that Ukraine as a democracy did reject a Russian supported unpopular leader and went with a leader who believed in freedom and improvement, and Ukraine had higher living standards than its neighbors, and if anything, I guess in a simple way, that was a threat to the oligarchs and to Putin that if they show an example, then our people might want what they have too.
Yeah.
So we can't have a neighbor flourishing and doing wonderfully and joining the world of I don't know what were the developed world, really.
Yeah.
Of which Ukraine belonged all along. It was so clear. Well, so are you continuing? It sounds like you're continuing to make more films.
No, it's not this series. This series we completed, but I cannot say that it is completely stopped because we don't know how long this war will last, and there is a chance that this series will be continued. But at the moment, I work on another documentary about this war, which is very, very painful documentary. but it is as well very, very important. And this time, this film is made for the platforms. So it will be shown. I will share it with you later.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And what I mean, I wish I could say that. I wish everyone in the world could see your film and hear what you're saying. But is there something you'd like to say to me and any Americans who are listening?
Yeah, I would like to say thank to you and to all the Americans who are supporting us, who are not stopping to support us, because there is a part of Americans who are sending their support, who are talking about us, who are really even I can say that American guys are serving and helping our army here. There are instructors here, and we have International Legion where American navies are serving, and these guys are really, really, really cool in a way that like they, as they say, I was talking to them as well, and they say that they are fighting for Ukrainian democracy, and it is very cool to hear. So I'm thanking to all these people for the support from all our side, from Ukrainians, and I would like to tell to people who are not interested, not involved, and not supporting. I would like to say that that moment when you are safe, when you are living your best life, enjoying and making your everyday routine. At that point, you have no idea how it is to live in the war. But when it comes, it's too late to think about it. And it is way better to prevent it and to be aware, to read about it, to do something. Because I can say that a lot of Ukrainians are feeling very sorry that they didn't do correct things at the right moment. And by that example, I want to talk to all international community, to all people who have no idea what the war is. It is very, very, very painful to lose our relatives, our homes, to lose our lives. And for me, it's not, I don't feel any pain to lose my life, but I feel huge pain to lose the lives of our best people. That's why my advice is to think about it and to be the people, to be people who will not regret later, who will do maximum they can.
So I just want to dive down into that. So there are actually things that one can think of previous to the invasion or the series of invasions, right? I mean, obviously, Crimea was 2014.
Yeah.
And then it was early 2022 that the full scale invasion happened. And so there were things to do during those 8 years that might have helped prevent this. But obviously there's things that we could have done too. I mean, when I'm forgetting the date, but yeah, when like, I mean, for example, when Zelensky won the presidency, like the United States really the entire free world should have jumped at that moment and said, okay, let's get you in NATO. Let's put you behind. Let's make you part of this thing that if one is attacked, all are attacked, because that's probably all that's kept Putin from invading other neighbors, I assume.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. And it's again what I said before. Before people touch it, face it, they cannot imagine how it feels. That is a problem. That is a reality. And us, at the moment when we touched it, we know how bad it is, how painful it is, and we cannot stop to do the things. We are doing them like way more than we did before. And people all around the world, you say they had to, but the reality is that they have no idea how it is, how bad it is. That's why they are not prepared, they are not ready. They think that it wouldn't touch them, that it will never come to them. But us, till the last moment of before the full-scale invasion started, like 99 and 9 and 9.9 couldn't believe that it was possible. Couldn't. It was completely a huge shock, complete shock for us to survive this situation.
Yeah, so the actual no one realized. I mean, well, because we were all being logical, I think. Because there's no logic to this full-scale invasion. There really, I mean, in our news sources, we get told things like Putin must have lived in this little bubble of misinformation, and everyone's afraid to tell him what he doesn't want to hear. So everyone said, "Oh, you can go in, and it'll be yours in a matter of days, and everyone will greet you like everyone will love you. This is gonna, you mishandled COVID so badly. This will get you popular again." Like it's such a fantasy. It's like someone told him, if you go across the street and shoot your neighbor in the face, all the rest of your neighborhood will support you. And it's I guess it's.
It is true. It is true that they thought so, because we have all the recordings of the soldiers who invaded first, like in the first wave. We have the recordings of their conversations, phone conversations. They were posted on internet. Everyone can hear them. And guys, the militarians, Russian militarians, are saying that they were expecting like the warm hugs from Ukrainians.
And just crazy. So that's what you're saying. 99.9% might have been thinking, well, it'd be too stupid to do. There's no sense to it. Yeah, because they were that makes it. So what you were sharing is that, and I want to focus back on it because I probably haven't focused on it enough, is you have shared just how deeply painful this has been, and we're about to enter year 3, and really it goes back 10 years or longer, but at year 3, this has been unbelievably traumatic. This is serious trauma. This is everyone from I imagine teenagers to people in their 50s, like my age or even older, have been called upon to defend their home and
Yes.
and are losing their lives. And yes, there's, oh boy, and in the Liberov documentary of Culture versus War, there was the soldier Da Vinci who they felt strongly with, and felt, and it's such great filmmaking that we get such a personal connection to someone and then lose him.
Yeah, it's true. He is a real hero. He was a real hero. And he was serving several years on this war, and he built this team, and people in his team were completely fearless. This story, story of this war is a story of big heroes. And a lot of people are shown themselves as they couldn't imagine before they could be. Simple people, as you say, very young people, very old people, they just shown themselves in such brave situations, in such sacrificing situations. I have to say that the trauma is not only physical. The biggest part of trauma is a psychological trauma, and it is super massive in Ukraine at the moment because everyone is losing someone, everyone is losing something, everyone is surviving pain, and it is not. I'm not talking about some generic words or whatever. It's reality. This film, Liberov film, is showing our reality. And when I am attending the festivals, people in the room, when they are watching it, they are saying, "Oh, it's so painful." And I say, "Yeah, I'm very, very sorry for you to feel this pain. But meanwhile, we are living in this pain every day of our life. And it will never be changed in a way that even if this war will be stopped at one point. That's for sure. I'm sure. But this pain will not disappear. And it is a very, very big trauma and drama. And we have to be very powerful to fight it, to fight not only the enemy in the face of Russian Federation, but also to fight an enemy in the face of this pain.
And a generational, multi-generational trauma that will last for generations. And hope. I mean, it is interesting to me as a casual student of history that there's a danger when we forget about the trauma of war, and it's dangerous to forget.
That's why, Jeff, these films were done. It was one of the goals. Not to be forgotten, not to let people forget. Because when we document it in this way, when we document reality, and when we document it in a good quality, in all ways of this word, good quality, like good quality creatively and good quality as to save it. It is the chance to not to be forgotten, and by that we are documenting our heroes. We are documenting the years of our history for next generations. Because I can say that Ukrainians who moved abroad in the beginning of war for different reasons, their kids are growing in different worlds, and they are not that much traumatized. And we understand that when they come back, when they grow up and they come back, in one day they will possibly want to become friends with Russians or with enemies. And us, we want to give them these books in a way of the documenting the history to show them how it was to feel each moment of this story, what happened, what is happening now, but for them it would be a past, I hope.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and for anyone listening and anyone interested, I know you have a Culture versus War website. People should go to that website, I assume.
I don't know. I cannot say because I know that it's in progress, and I know that the works are still lasting there. And I can say that on Facebook we have the page called Watch Ukrainian. This is a page of the association Watch Ukrainian, which made this series of films. And there we post all new videos and like new documentaries. Also, the documentaries about Olympic champions, like very also painful stories about sportsmen. And our new films were coming there as well. So it's possibly better to follow it for the customers who use Facebook. This source, this page is, I think it's the most packed and full of our news.
All right. Well, I'll ask you to send me an email with
Yeah.
any links to whether it's Facebook or Instagram or a website, any link that you want to be in the show notes to go with this podcast so people can just tap on it and go right to it because, obviously I'm going to watch the 6 other ones on YouTube.
5 other ones are on YouTube, and the full-length documentary will be on YouTube, I think, in 2 months. And so 5 others you will be able to watch. I think it will be interesting for you because they are completely different. And each in our team, in our crew, has its favorite one, favorite documentary. And there you will see my favorite one as well.
Oh, excellent. So this, well, let me wrap it up by thanking you, not just for taking the time to talk to me today, but also for submitting your film to a festival in Los Angeles that you probably hadn't heard of before, but I assume you might have looked at that Film Freeway Top 100 Best Reviewed list looking for reputable festivals that would honor the work, and we're very lucky to be on that list, that Best Reviewed list. So it means very much to me as a person, just as a global citizen, and then maybe it means a little more to me that my great grandparents on my dad's side came from Odessa. It's funny. I met someone from there, and she said, "No, say Odessa." But
no, you are saying completely correctly. Don't change.
Don't change. Call it Odessa.
Odessa is in Ukrainian. Odessa is in Russian.
Right. I know that is one of the funny things, that happened for descendants. My family walked around. We said we were from Russia, right? Because it was part of the Russian Empire. It was the Tsar's territory still when my family ran.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so many times that part of the world has almost gotten independent.
But I will tell you a pleasant thing that in Odessa, people are speaking Ukrainian now, and it is very, very, very pleasant. Because for a lot of years, people were speaking Russian. And now, when I traveled there for a premiere of one of our films, actually for Liberov, I was so much surprised, and it was a huge pleasure.
It's caused a cultural shift. Yeah. In fact, I didn't notice it the first time watching it, the first few times. But yes, the Liberovs themselves grew up in Odessa, and
they are from Odessa.
And they started speaking Ukrainian more in reaction to this. So it really is, whoa, it's such a fascinating thing.
Yeah, the interesting thing that Putin was fighting our identity, but contrary, he raised our identity.
He did.
Even more, way more.
Yeah, the law of unintended results.
Yeah.
Hit right there, which was, oh, it's mostly ours anyway. We'll just take it. They'll love us. And like, no, now you have boosted Ukrainian identity.
Yeah.
And boosted the Ukrainian will to be independent and a part of the modern world. Because Lord knows, well, it's not even, I'm going to mention it, but I mean, I've been to St. Petersburg, and the people of Russia are the least happy people on earth. And you talk to people, and there's just no hope. There's no sense that life will get better. I mean, that's what I experienced firsthand in St. Petersburg, talking to local Russians, kind of looking like them. And, you
will not feel it in Odessa. One day you come.
Yes.
And you will feel so much warmth there. Even now, I have to say, during the war, it's the city of blossoming people. You come there, the girls are wearing dresses, high heels, everyone is smiling, and it is a city of smile.
Wonderful. Because I remember when there were some warships parked off the coast bombarding it, and I was very worried.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's true.
Oh, it's a great regret of mine that I haven't been to Odessa. I hadn't, in all my travel, the closest I got was Istanbul, which is not far, but
very close.
It did not occur to me that I needed to visit before this invasion, but
welcome, Jeff.
I will be coming. I will. I absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah, let me know. I will be happy to show you our beautiful country, and I think you will be surprised, and you have to come as you are Ukrainian.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for this. It means the world, and we'll put in the notes for this about that people can watch the films on YouTube and look forward to the feature film version, and hopefully that is more catered towards the streaming world and the way people like to distribute things. Although in truth, I think your instincts were excellent, because 20 to 25 minute films are so digestible by the public in this modern world. But I guess they haven't clued into that in the distribution world yet. Lord knows they always trail behind. But thank you so much. And wonderful work and important work. I mean, it's no insult to any of the other. Wow, I should know by now, but we've just finished our 18th festival. So, some are, we're creeping up near 1,000 films, I think, that we've shown. And I just don't think there's one more important than yours, than Culture versus War.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Thank you. And I always finish the podcast by naming a bunch of things, but I will just name them very quickly, which is, well, first, thank you, Alina. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you want to learn more about this podcast, go to discoverindiefilm.com. On social media, it's always at DIFwins. I shared that the award for Best Documentary, Featurette, went to Culture versus War, Liberov, at Film Invasion Los Angeles in 2024. You should watch that film on YouTube. There will be a link. But if you want to learn more about that festival that we hold every June, and next year is our 10th anniversary, so we're going to have to do something special. go to filminvasionla.com to learn more. That's the name of the festival is Film Invasion Los Angeles, and it's at Film Invasion LA on social media. And it does have a sister festival every December that I'm just recovering from. In fact, the cold I am just getting over now was given to me at the festival 2 weeks ago. And Alina and I are smiling because we both are getting over colds. And
yes, sorry for that. Yeah.
No, it's funny. I've tried not to cough. But you can learn about that festival, the one in December, if you go to ShermanOaksFF.com, and it's at Sherman Oaks FF on social media. And lastly, I'll mention people interested in indie film should go to indiechannel.tv and learn more about the Indie Channel. Oh boy, I certainly wish that the Indie Channel is a venture I'm involved in to get indie films, bigger audiences. And oh my gosh, if we only had 1 million people that we could just say, here, watch Culture versus War tonight. That would be the greatest. So I have delusions of grandeur, but at least they're about uplifting others, I guess.
Thank you, Jeff, for your support.
Yeah.
You're great.
Thank you.
For your festival.
And we'll have some fun. We'll stop recording, then we'll start recording again, and we'll just get to talk about movies, which will be, I don't know. As you pointed out, people need the fun side of life too. You need to know what you're fighting for. So we will. I will get to know some of your favorite films and everything.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I will thank everyone who is listening.